Okay, so for this deep dive, we're heading into, well, a really strange place. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, the CEZ. You think about it, you picture these mutated landscapes, right?
Oh.
Twisted pine trees, birds maybe with deformed beaks.
Yeah, it's got that reputation.
Exactly. So our mission today is to sift through the sources, the documentaries, the research, and try to understand how life actually managed to adapt, or, well, if it adapted after that huge catastrophe back in '86.
And just to set the scene for you, remember, this was northern Ukraine. You had the big RBMK-1000 reactor there, and Pripyat, this sort of model Soviet city built right next door.
Right.
The thing is, the disaster wasn't just about that safety test going wrong. Fundamentally, there was a massive design flaw in the reactor itself, a flaw the state apparently knew about and keep quiet.
Which is chilling. And that flaw, it just came roaring out during that test, didn't it? This positive void coefficient thing.
Yeah.
Basically, the reactor went haywire. Usually, steam should slow things down, right? But here, steam pockets in the coolant actually sped up the nuclear reaction. It's completely counterintuitive.
Exactly. And that leads to the really tragic irony of the shutdown attempt. The operator hits the AZ5 button, the emergency stop.
Yeah.
But the control rods, the things meant to stop the reaction, had graphite tips. So for a split second, as they went in, those tips actually increased the reaction rate locally.
Oh, wow. Before they could dampen it.
Before the main part of the rods could do their job. So you got this insane power spike, like maybe 100 times the normal output, and then boom, two massive explosions just tore the reactor apart.
The immediate biological fallout described in the sources is just hard to grasp. Deer dying within a day.
Yeah, from thousands of Ronjins, internal failure, seizures. It was brutal.
And the red forest where all those pine trees just turned this rusty red color and died almost instantly from the radiation.
A very visible marker.
And the story of the pets in Pripyat, left behind, because residents were told the evacuation was only for 3 days.
Right, a temporary measure.
But then they never went back. And later, liquidators had to shoot the stray animals, feared they'd spread contamination. That sort of detail, it just sticks with you.
It really does. And beyond the immediate physical destruction, you had these invisible poisons spreading. Iodine-131, which zeroes in on the thyroid gland.
Okay.
Cesium-137, which the body mistakes for potassium, so it spreads through, soft tissues. And strontium-90, that mimics calcium and gets lodged in bones.
So different isotopes targeting different parts of the body.
Precisely. Long-term dangers.
But then here's the big twist, right? Humans leave. This massive 2,600 square kilometer area is abandoned, and it becomes this huge accidental nature reserve, one of Europe's biggest, apparently.
Yeah, nature abhors a vacuum.
You've got wolves, bears, even those rare Przalski's horses moving in and seemingly doing well.
They are thriving in terms of numbers, yes. But they're living in a pretty radioactive place.
Yeah.
And Dr. Timothy Mousseau, he's done a lot of work documenting the biological markers of that radiation exposure.
Like what kind of markers?
Well, things like cataracts, cloudy lenses, and birds and rodents. That's a classic sign.
Yeah.
Birds showing patches of white feathers where they shouldn't, so partial albinism,
Right.
deformed beaks, you mentioned those earlier.
Yeah.
And even insects like firebugs, their distinct red and black patterns get warped, asymmetrical. It all points back to the radiation damaging DNA, messing with development, causing mutations because the repair systems are just overwhelmed.
Okay, so there's clear evidence of damage, but then there's this other really fascinating evidence that suggests maybe genuine adaptation has happened.
Yeah, it's the cutting edge.
Like these black tree frogs. In the really hot zones, the highly contaminated areas, they're apparently much darker, more melanin pigment.
The idea being maybe that extra melanin acts like a shield, offering some protection against the radiation, a survival advantage driving the color change.
Interesting. And then there's that fungus inside reactor 4.
Oh, the radiotrophic fungus. Yeah, that's wild. It seems to be using gamma radiation, kind of like plants use sunlight, almost like a food source.
So like photosynthesis, but with radiation.
Something along those lines, yeah. It's a really fundamental shift, if that's what's happening.
And the wolves. I read some preliminary stuff suggesting they might have evolved some kind of cancer resilience.
Yeah.
Changes in their immune system genes.
There is research looking into that, yes. But, and this is important, we need a bit of caution here. Mousseau and others, they push back sometimes.
How so?
Well, they argue that proving rapid evolution is really tricky. What might look like adaptation could just be, well, a filtering effect.
Filtering effect? What do you mean?
Just that the radiation is so harsh, Maybe only the individuals that were already naturally tougher, more robust, are the ones managing to survive and reproduce. The weaker ones die off quickly.
Ah, okay. So it's not that the species as a whole quickly changed its genetics. It's just that the environment selected for the pre-existing tough guys, basically.
Exactly. It's selection pressure, which is part of evolution, but maybe not the kind of rapid, novel, mutation-driven adaptation that gets hyped sometimes. It's a subtle but really important distinction.
Or a crucial scientific debate.
Yeah.
And while all that research was going on, trying to figure these things out, human conflict threw a wrench in the works.
Yeah, the 2022 invasion, Russian forces actually occupied the CEZ for a time.
And they dug trenches in the Red Forest, the most contaminated part.
Reports say they did, yeah, stirring up highly radioactive soil. And beyond the immediate risk to them, scientific labs in the zone were ransacked. Decades of invaluable long-term data samples just lost. A real tragedy for the research.
That's awful.
So now you have the reactor finally encased under that huge new safe confinement structure. And the zone itself, well, it stands as this massive kind of terrifying monument, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To human error, to technological failure on a grand scale, but also maybe to nature's incredible stubborn ability to just hang on, to endure, even under the most extreme conditions imaginable.
So thinking about that fungus, the one that might be eating radiation, if that's real adaptation, not just filtering, what else might be evolving down there right now? What kind of completely new life forms could be harnessing radiation in ways we can't even conceive of yet?
It's a fascinating thought.
Could looking deep into Chernobyl actually give us clues about how life might survive, maybe even thrive on, highly radioactive planets out there in the universe? Something to ponder.